Hello everyone, my name is JD and welcome to the WireTap. I'm flying solo today. Logan's feeling a little under the weather, so pardon me if the focus goes in and out. It's just set on auto, unlike manual like we normally have. But I want to thank you for joining us, as always. And today I want to discuss, it's going to be a little lighter video. I want to discuss Michael Bloomberg and Hillary Clinton. That's been the buzz for the last couple of days, and I just want to weigh in on this gossip. So the story that's broke here in the last couple of days is that Michael Bloomberg is considering Hillary Clinton as vice president on his ticket. And please, I beg you, Michael Bloomberg, if you're within the sound of my voice, I don't know why you would be, just a small rinky-dink conservative commentary channel on YouTube, but if for some reason you're watching this, please, I beg you to pick Hillary Clinton as your vice presidential candidate and your running mate. I beg you, Michael Bloomberg, please do it. Because we already know what Hillary's all about. We know what she stands for. We know that she offers nothing new. So I beg you, Michael, please do it. Michael Bloomberg, in the grand scheme of this whole Democratic primary, has really been a big nothing burger. If you want to boil him down to one thing, it's that he offers nothing new. He offers no original ideas, and he has money. That's it. Those are the only things, is that he is your carbon copy New York liberal, and he has money. And he's been using that money at every turn to run ads against Donald Trump, as to why you shouldn't vote for him, why he's a terrible person, everything like that. Not even necessarily ads for him, but just ads against Trump. I mean, that's not going to work in the long run. Michael Bloomberg, his polling is relatively static since he's come into the race. He's had really no big swings upward or downward, to his credit. He is higher than some of your other losers in the primary race, but he's ultimately pretty static, pretty stagnant. There's not a lot of energy behind him, and he is in the lower tier of candidates right now. And I think what you might be seeing is, and probably are seeing, is one of the efforts that candidates and campaigns that are failing try to do, and that is just to generate media attention. And I believe that we had talked about this before, is that we talked about this with the debates months ago, that attention is oxygen. If you don't have attention, you can't survive. And I think that that's what they've realized, is that their campaign is dying. They need something to bring them back from the brink. They need something to bring them back from the edge. And that's ultimately what this is. This is an attempt just to generate buzz. It's an attempt to generate publicity. Because I think there's a large number of people who don't even realize that Michael Bloomberg is running for president, because he hasn't. There's not a lot of media attention around him. I mean that's just the bottom line. There's not a lot of Michael Bloomberg news that you hear about, because he's not been in the debates. He's not even been on the ticket yet. He's saved all of his resources for the Super Tuesday states. He wasn't in Iowa. He's not in New Hampshire, South Carolina. He's waiting for the Super Tuesday states for him to be even on the ballot. Like I said, he's not in the debates. There's just not a lot of attention around him. And quite frankly, I don't think a lot of people even know that he's running for president. So I think what this is, for one, strategically, is just an attempt to give him media attention, just to generate some buzz, because his campaign is dying. You've seen this a couple of other times with the other candidates who have now dropped out. And that's what this is. But let's just let's take this seriously for a moment. Do I think that Michael Bloomberg would legitimately consider and possibly even make Hillary Clinton his running mate? Yeah, I think he would. Will Hillary Clinton do it? Now, that is the other side of the equation that you have to consider. That's the other part that you have to look at. And I know that she was doing an interview with, was it Ellen DeGeneres? I can't remember. I don't know. Talking about this. And her response was, in summary, basically, never say never. There's always a chance. There's always a possibility. But, as of right now, it's not really something that I'm considering. She would say that regardless. Because if this is a media ploy, if this is some sort of media stunt that her and Michael Bloomberg are involved with, of course she's going to say that. Of course she's going to say that she doesn't know right now, because why would you give away the ending? Then the mystery, then the intrigue is gone. So of course you're not going to say anything. I do not know, truthfully, if Hillary Clinton would make the trek back into the sphere like this. And the reason why I say this is not because of her hunger for power being gone, because that's always there. It's still there. She still resents the fact that she, obviously, you didn't win the presidency. She obviously is upset about that still. And after so many years, after so many opportunities, it's clear to see that she's obviously upset about the fact that she not only was offed for Obama in 2008, but that she then lost to Donald Trump in an election where it was almost guaranteed that she would win. That's upsetting to her. That is very upsetting to her after all the dues that she paid, after all of the positions that she's held, after, being First Lady and Secretary of State, et cetera, et cetera. She thought that she paid her dues and that it was time for her to be president, only for that to be yanked out from under her at the very last moment, like a Wile E. Coyote cartoon. So I do not think that it is because of her coming to a place to where she doesn't want, and sorry about that, it's not because of her not wanting power anymore. I think it's precisely because she does want power, and her being a number 2 on a ticket. Her being the vice president. It was said before that the vice presidency, and this was before our modern era, but it's been said before that the vice presidency is where one's political career goes to die. And I think that is true for Hillary Clinton in her mind. The vice presidency is a position which in her holds no merit, holds no real power whatsoever. It is the presidency, rather, that does. And that is true to some extent, that the president does, of course, have many more privileges and powers that the vice president does not have, but the vice president also has many duties, responsibilities that he must attend to as well. So it's not exactly that he's along for the ride, although the vice president in a way is. But the point that I'm making here is that it's not the big ticket item. And Hillary Clinton wants her name in lights. She wants that big ticket. She wants that. So I think, and like I said, I know that this is, this has been the rumor for the last couple of days. But I do not think ultimately, I could be wrong. I could be very wrong. I was very wrong about what I thought about Donald Trump. Pardon me. About what I thought about Donald Trump going into 2016. And I could be very wrong about this as well. However, I don't think so, because I think ultimately her pride and her thirst for power is what is going to be her undoing, and be the reason as to why this doesn't materialize into anything. I think that it is those two reasons. She has been kicked to the side so many times that I don't know what her goal is at this point. And I know that she said that she might consider running again in 2024 or something like that. And you know what? Please, I beg you. You are such a terrible candidate. You are just such an unlikable person. You have such an unlikable public persona. I beg you, Hillary, please run in 2024. It will guarantee that the Republicans continue to win the presidency if you run. But the thing is that none of the other Democratic candidates are any more charismatic than she is, any more likable or personable than she is, have any more of a personality than a piece of cardboard. None of them do. Well, I shouldn't say none of them. Some of them are indeed more likable, but none of them ultimately have any more depth than a piece of cardboard, just like her. They're all pretty shallow. They're all pretty surface level in terms of their ideology, in terms of their ideas, and the such and the like. But like I said, I just think that this is something that Bloomberg is trying to use just to generate publicity around his campaign that has just stagnated ever since that he started. He's stayed pretty consistent in the polls, but there's really been no fluctuations up and down, which can be a good thing. But as the field has whittled down, it's not a good thing. But the big thing to remember, no matter what, is the fact that these are all progressives. These are all people who are actively trying to transform and change the way that we do things here in America. So even though that we as conservatives might look on, and I mean, I know I do this, I just did it. I've done it a couple times during this episode, that we hope that these hopeless candidates, these fools who are just terrible candidates and just inauthentic and just cringeworthy to watch on the campaign trail. Even though that we hope for that, we have to remember that these are all people who are actively against what America is, and they hope to fundamentally transform it. We need to remember that no matter how terrible they might be, how stupid they might appear, that they do still have an ideology that is dangerous, that is antithetical to what we believe. And I say that as I put up this disclaimer of, I mean, don't act, don't take that to the extreme that these are people who need to be eradicated or taken out in some violent way or anything like that. In terms of the political process, remove them from power. The way that we have set up here in America, I'm not at all advocating for any sort of violence or any sort of thing like that. But what I mean is that their ideas are progressive and socialist. They are socialist ideas. And that is not what we believe. They are completely antithetical to what we believe in terms of free choice and individual responsibility and personal liberty. They are all things that are antithetical to that. And we have to remember that that ultimately is what they are, and we need to beat them at the ballot box. We need to change minds, change hearts, and show them what American ideals are: constitutional liberty, classic liberalism, personal freedom, the rights outlined in the Bill of Rights, the rights outlined in the Declaration of Independence that all people are gifted, and that is life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness and property. But I want to thank you for joining me on this edition of the WireTap. If you liked this video, make sure you drop a like and leave a comment down below on ideas that you'd like to see in the future. If you want to listen to us on the go, you can look at SoundCloud. We are on SoundCloud. Every edition of the WireTap is posted on SoundCloud for you to listen to if you like that kind of format. So make sure you go over there. That link is in our description. Like and follow us there as well. If you'd like to interact with us on Twitter or see some of the stuff that we talk about in between shows, you can go to Twitter at the CWire, capital TC and W. It's at the CWire, and you can join me on Twitter. So Logan's not here, so it's just me. My name is JD, saying goodbye, God bless, and we will see you in the next episode.